Hey, welcome. So whether you're a seasoned pro in sales, an entrepreneur just starting out, or really anyone who wants to be a little more persuasive, you are in exactly the right place. Because the truth is we are all selling something every single day. We sell our ideas, our value, our point of view. So today, let's really dig into the psychology of what separates the good from the truly, truly great.
It's the classic question, isn't it? Are some people just born with that magic touch for selling? Well, our source material for this explainer, which is based on the legendary work of Brian Tracy, gives us a really clear answer. And here's a hint. It has a lot less to do with natural talent than you probably think.
And boom, there it is. That's the core idea of this whole thing. See, success in sales isn't about some secret technique you use on other people. It all starts inside your own head. Your beliefs about yourself, your confidence, your self-image, they literally control your results. You change the inner game and the outer results have no choice but to follow.
So, here's our game plan for this journey. First, we're going to tackle that all-important inner game. Then we'll get into the customer's mind and figure out why they really buy. After that, we'll talk about building the trust that makes everything else work. Learn the art of guiding a decision, and finally, we'll uncover the secrets of the top earners. Ready? Okay, first up, the absolute foundation for everything we're going to talk about, your own psychology. Before you can even hope to influence someone else, you have to get a handle on that conversation that's always happening between your own ears.
This brings us to a huge idea, your self-concept. The best way to think about it is like a thermostat for your income, right? If you see yourself as a $50,000 a year person, you will unconsciously do things to make sure you stay right at that level. Your own brain will always pull you back to the temperature you've set for yourself. So if you want to earn more, you first have to believe you're worth more.
And this inner game, it has a massive impact on the real world. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule, right? Well, in sales, it is on full display. Get this, the top 20% of salespeople are taking home 80% of all the money. It's a staggering difference.
But wait, it gets even more extreme. The top 4%, we're talking just 4 out of every 100 salespeople, often earn more than the entire bottom 80% combined. No, that's not a typo. The gap between the top and the middle is just enormous. And it's not because of luck. It's because of something much, much smaller.
And this is why. It's a concept called the winning edge. See, you don't need to be twice as good to earn twice as much. You just need to be a tiny bit better in a few key areas. But you have to practice it consistently. That small edge, when it's compounded over and over, is what creates that massive gap in results and income.
All right, so once our own mindset is dialed in, we can turn our focus outward. Let's talk about the most important person in any sale, the customer. What is actually going on inside their mind when they're making a decision?
This right here is one of the most powerful truths in all of sales and marketing. People buy based on emotion, and then they justify that decision with logic. They buy because they feel a desire for gain or a fear of loss. They buy for security, for status, for pride. All the other stuff, the features, the price, the data, that comes later to help their logical brain feel good about the emotional decision they already made.
And here's the perfect way to think about it. Nobody goes to the hardware store because they want to own a drill. No, they want a hole in the wall so they can hang a picture of their family. They are buying the outcome, the benefit, the feeling. Your job isn't to sell the thing, it's to sell the transformation that thing provides. But knowing what your customer feels is pretty useless if they don't trust you, because ultimately, people buy from people they like and connect with. Trust is the currency of all influence. It's the bridge that connects understanding a need and actually making a sale.
So how do you build that trust? Well, it often comes down to this. The average salesperson spends about 80% of their time talking, trying to convince, trying to persuade. But the top performers, they flip that script completely. They spend 80% of their time listening. And why? Because when you truly listen, you uncover the real problems and you make the other person feel genuinely heard and respected.
Okay, so we've got our mindset right, we understand the customer's real emotions, and we've built some genuine trust. Now what? It's time to close. And this isn't about being pushy or using pressure. It's about confidently and helpfully guiding someone to a decision that you know is right for them. First things first, we need a major mindset shift. Most salespeople are terrified of objections. But here's the secret. An objection isn't a no. It's actually a buying signal. It means the person is engaged, they're thinking about it, and they just need a bit more clarity or reassurance. It's an opportunity, not a roadblock. And the process for handling them is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. First, just listen. Don't interrupt, let them get it all out. Then acknowledge their point. Say something like, that's a really good question. Next, show some empathy. I totally get why you'd feel that way. And only then do you give a calm, confident answer that provides the reassurance they're looking for.
Now, let's talk about a really powerful closing technique, the assumptive close. It works because it projects total confidence. You just assume they've decided to move forward, and you start talking about the next logical step. Something like, so, when would be a good time to schedule delivery? It feels totally natural and makes saying yes easy.
The alternative close is brilliant. It moves the whole conversation from if we're doing this to how we're doing this. Instead of asking a yes or no question that could just stop everything, you offer two positive options. It naturally guides the customer toward a decision without feeling pushy at all.
And finally, we have the summary close. This one's great. You simply recap the key benefits that the customer has already agreed are important to them. You're basically playing their own words back to them. After you've laid out all that value, asking to move forward just feels like the next logical, easy, and completely natural step.
And that brings us to our final section. Because look, knowing all this stuff is one thing, but the top earners, that elite 4% we talked about, they don't just know it, they live it. They've taken these powerful skills and turned them into unconscious automatic habits.
So what do? Well, the key thing to realize is that these aren't personality traits. They're learnable disciplines. Top performers take 100% ownership of their results, good or bad. They have clear, written goals. They bounce back from rejection. They're always learning. They focus only on high-value activities, and, maybe most importantly, their integrity is everything.
This really brings it all home, doesn't it? As the slide says, excellence is never an accident. It's a choice. It's the direct result of building the right mindset, learning the right skills, and then practicing them with discipline, day in and day out, until they just become a part of who you are.
So as we wrap up, I want you to really think about that. Your success, your income, your influence, it's all just a reflection of your current habits. If you want to change your results, you have to change what you do every day. So the only question left is, what one habit will you choose to begin today? Thanks so much for joining this explainer.